This is the No Excuses Coaching Podcast with Ryan Montes and Alana Banks, where we discuss the mindset, the attitude, and the strategies of elite coaching. So, Ryan, I heard that one of us is now a published author. And
which one?
It's not me. It's not me. So I have a feeling that it might be you.
It is. It's me. Look, I'm holding it up.
The one sentence coaching course.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Listeners may not be aware that I'm holding up a physical book. They also may not be aware that everything on my screen is green today. My shirt, my wall, the book. Anyway, I wrote this.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go to Amazon and find Ryan's book.
If you go to Amazon and you search Ryan Montes, two things will come up. Actually, three things will come up. The first one is this podcast. The second one is my book called The One Sentence Coaching Course. And the third one is an unrelated sports ebook written by somebody else who doesn't even have the same name as me. But it comes up when you search my name. So those first things are me. Check out my book.
Oh, I didn't know that. So when you search on Amazon, our podcast comes up?
Yeah. And if you search your name, this podcast and your other podcast, Cracked Open with Alana Banks, comes up.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we're a big deal.
Yeah, we are a big deal. Clearly, we're on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy, disposable razors and download our podcast all on the same site.
And your book.
And my book. And it's
Go and buy the book.
I just searched my name on Amazon and that unrelated sports ebook has disappeared. However, the first result is my book. The second result is the No Excuses Coaching Podcast with our new artwork. And the third one is a children's book called Welcome to Ryan's World, Ready to Read Level 1, which also looks quite nice. Cool. You can get anything on it. Yeah.
You can. Anything. So, we're not really going to be talking about books today.
Are we going to be talking about Amazon?
We're not even talking about Amazon.
Holy jumping. What are we talking about?
We're talking about this phenomenon. This crazy phenomenon that people seem to discover when...
Is it Aurora Borealis?
Is it what?
Aurora Borealis? Is it the Northern Lights? Is that what we're talking about? A crazy phenomenon that people discover? I saw it once.
Did you? I've never seen that. I'd like to, but I will at some point, I'm sure. No. So what we're talking about is this phenomenon where, people think that they've done everything when it comes to maybe their business, maybe their coaching business. But when you really think about it, have they really done everything? And we actually have a list that we can go through today. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I've done everything for my business and it's just not taking off the way I want it to, I'm not getting the clients, I'm not getting the money, I'm not getting, the results that I want, we've got a list here that is going to go real deep and question if you actually really have tried everything.
They haven't.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely that they've tried everything.
Mm-hmm.
I would go out on a limb and say, if you're making millions and millions of dollars, you may not be listening to a coaching podcast. I mean, I think you should. If you're Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or some Russian oligarch, I don't know, people who have infinite money, you should listen to our podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they're not, though. If you're listening to this podcast, probably you want to grow your coaching business. And we're going to dive into some stuff that you may not have thought of doing yet.
Yeah, this is an awesome list.
Yeah, I like this list. Where'd you steal it from?
I think, honestly, it was someone I know reposted this on Facebook from someone else. So
unknown source.
Yeah,
Anonymous.
Unfortunately, we can't source it, but it is legitimate.
Oh yeah, no, I read it. I approve.
Yeah.
I vetted by Ryan Montes.
Yeah. So should we just go for it? Just start going down this list?
Now we should talk about Aurora Borealis more and other natural phenomena. Okay, number one. Do you want to say it or should I say it? I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
You snooze, you lose, Banks. Number one thing to do. Okay, so again, this is a list of when you think you've tried everything to grow your coaching business, and a lot of this applies to entrepreneurship in general.
Mm-hmm.
What are some more things that maybe you didn't think of that you can do or either do more of? Okay, so number one on the list is email 10 clients and ask them to hire you.
Love it.
I cannot tell you how many people have like asked me for advice on how to grow their business. And I've told them, well, have you just messaged people who you think might be good, like qualified clients who would want your service and ask them if they want it? And they're like, oh yeah, good idea. Let me go do that. Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you know people who like want what you got, ask them if they want what you got. Right. There's a good chance they're going to say yes.
Yeah. There is. And it's funny because I was I don't know if I was reading something or watching something or something on Instagram maybe. But it was like the one thing that you can do to like accelerate your results is whoever you're talking to during the day, ask them, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And I thought like, I was like, that's such great advice. And I actually, before reading that, that's something that I adopted kind of early on. Like I love helping people. It's just something that I like naturally am compelled to do. And that served me well in my life because it's allowed me to like make some good connections and for people to see value in what I have to offer. So that's another thing I would tie up with this is like email 10 clients and ask them to hire you, or maybe email 10 people and ask them how you can help them.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like get on the horn.
If it's aligned, like, I mean, you don't want to like do
if it's aligned, of course. Yeah.
Or pick
like
up the dry cleaning.
This doesn't say just chase down strangers on the street.
Yeah.
It says email 10 clients, which is presumably people you've worked with in the past, right? Just say, hey, you need help with anything right now, or I've got this thing going on, or I just wrote this book. Are you interested in that?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. The other thing I would add to this, like we're deviating a little bit from the list, but just one more thing is when you're working with a client, or maybe you're circling back with a client in this email, you could also ask them if they know of anyone that they could refer you to.
Yeah.
That's another good little tip.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, that kind of takes us into the next one, which is circle back to 5 clients and ask them to hire you again. So maybe you've wrapped up with some clients like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. You can go back to those clients and maybe you've added a new specialty. Maybe you have more knowledge about something specific. So you could, or maybe you've launched something new. You could always circle back with them and be like, hey, by the way, I just started a podcast, or I just, I'm working in this area now. Perhaps I could help you. Just wanted to let you know, give you a heads up.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't even need to be per se clients, but people who've expressed interest. Like if you've done discovery calls with people and they weren't yet ready for your service and it's been a while since you've spoken with them, you could check in on them and see how they're doing and see if maybe they need your service or want your service now, because there's probably some of them that do. Right? Yeah. Cool. All right.
And how do we do that in like a non-pushy way? Because I feel like some people that are listening right now are maybe of the mindset like, oh, well, I don't want to be pushy or salesy or anything like that. But I think these emails don't even need to be salesy. It can literally just be like, hey, this is just a heads up kind of email.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can do it super indirect and just literally say, hey, let's just touching base with some people who I haven't talked to in a while. Just wanted to say hi and let you know I'm still around if you need anything. Or, you could use the old PS, send a message and say, hey, it's just thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. Take care. PS, I just released this new book if you're interested in that, blah, blah, blah. Or you can be direct. Luck favors the bold, and you really have nothing to lose. If a person has been out of touch with you for a while, the chances that they're going to come to you and buy something or invest in your service are very low. And if you message them, really have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
Even if you come off as a little pushy, well, if they had never heard from you again anyways, they weren't going to invest in you. And if they found you pushy, they're still not going to invest in you. But there's a good chance that if you're polite and respectful and you have genuine value, they're not going to find you pushy. They're either going to be interested in your services because they genuinely need them, or not because they genuinely don't. So yeah, don't worry about it. Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Next.
Next one. Reach out to 5 colleagues and let them know what you're working on these days and ask them to refer customers to you. I like that one. In fact, I just did that today. I'm going down kind of a new niche, as you know, and I kind of left an open loop for listeners a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going down into more of like a path of helping people with their sexual dysfunction, having any guilt or shame around that part of their life. And I reached out to a former coach that I was working with a couple of years ago and let her know that this is what I was doing now, because I noticed she's also going down that path.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry.
We're just laughing because there's a big cat, but on Alana's screen that perhaps the listeners can't see, but I can see it. And now Alana is very red, very embarrassed. There's the cat.
Okay.
Anyways, so that one was reach out to 5 colleagues and let them know what you're working on these days and ask them to refer customers to you. Yeah. I mean, this is not something I do personally often, just because I don't have time for this, because I would want to get on the phone and if you're going to do this, you want to use it also as an opportunity to build rapport with your colleagues and network, right? So you'd want to get on the phone, ask them what they're doing, reciprocate the energy, and be ready to send people their way as well. So if you got time, if you're sitting around not serving clients, then definitely this is a good one. Or like Alana said, if you have an appropriate opportunity to mention a new thing that you've got going on, then definitely, yeah.
I think I kind of got cut off with my cat. But,
yeah.
What I was saying was...
Yeah. What were you saying?
What I was saying was I was watching her Instagram today, and she was mentioning how she's kind of opening up this community of people talking about specifically what I'm moving into, which is this whole idea of sexual freedom. So I messaged her and I said, I would love to help you. I would love to offer some input to your community. And anyway, we had an amazing text exchange back and forth, and she had no idea that I was exploring this new niche. And so she's like, I definitely want to work together with you more on this. Let's keep this conversation going, blah, blah, blah. So, you may think people know what you're up to because you're putting it out there on social media or you're talking about it, but chances are people aren't paying as much attention as you think. So reach out.
Yeah, that's true. Be your own walking, talking billboard. Definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next one is spend time honing your craft, sharpening your skills, becoming the best service provider you can be.
Yeah. No, not that one. Don't do that. Here's why. I mean, that's good advice in general, but here's why that's also bad advice. If you are already skilled and the problem you're having in business right now is not enough clients, don't go and take a course to become more skilled. Make efforts to get more clients.
Yeah.
Maybe the exception would be if the course is a marketing course rather than a coaching course, or if you put a firm limit on the time. For me, I'm a very 50-hour per week person. I get to my office between 5 and 7 in the morning, and I stay here till 5 p.m. most days. And so if it's a slowish time in my business, okay, maybe I'll spend an hour or two per day doing professional development activities like going through a course or learning something new or whatever. But most of the time, a coach should be spending about 80% of their time attracting new clients and new business and creating high value content to put out in the world to attract new clients and new business. So I like this one. You should build your skill. You should hone your craft. You should be the best service provider you possibly can, but not to the detriment of the sustainability of your business, which means focusing lots of time on marketing and becoming discoverable by your ideal people.
Yeah. What I'd like to add to this is I agree with you. I think, it's don't go out and get more certificates or do more education or online courses. But one thing you could do, and what I made this kind of mean for me, is like go out and find clients and hone your craft in terms of like what you have to offer with them. And maybe it's for like a testimonial exchange, or it's like some sort of an exchange if you're not like getting paid clients yet, but at least you're getting testimonials, you're getting audio or video of you working with clients, you're getting feedback, you're honing your craft in that way. That's really valuable. And that's also market research too, when you do that at like a big level. When I was like starting out, I was doing a lot of free hypno. And as a result, I got tons of really valuable market research that allowed me to figure out kind of like who my client was. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you understand, how this is going to translate to growing your business, sure. Yeah. And getting testimonials and market research. Yeah, sure. I like that. Okay. Next.
In the last week, did I do something to generate resources for myself?
That's a vague question.
Very vague.
In the last week, did I do something to generate resources for myself? I mean, that's not so much a tip as it is a, thought-provoking question. Let me just apply that to myself. In the last week, have I done something to generate resources for myself? I did. You know what I did in the last week? That's true. I wrote and had edited by Alana Banks and published a book. And I also signed up for a 5-day list growing challenge, which uses inexpensive Facebook ads to grow your email list. And that is something with a minimal time investment and that is free, that will potentially grow resources for me. So there's a couple of things. So I guess this list is implying, if you got time, do stuff like that. Those are two very specific examples. Obviously, it doesn't need to be those things. What do you think? What comes to mind for you when you think of a resource resource generating activity?
Yeah, well, I think of, what have I done this week to reach out to my people or my community that could have translated into resources for me. So like, I recorded and put out a podcast episode with you. I recorded and put out a podcast episode on Cracked Open. I've created content every day, multiple times a day to put out on social media. So I think if you're looking back on your week and thinking like, where have I spent my time, energy, and money potentially? And are they producing resources for you? It doesn't necessarily have to be money coming in, but, are you putting stuff out there that is going to ultimately generate something, whether it be like community building, a new client, just exposure, respect, know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, probably leads is a good resource to consider in the context of this question. This question makes more sense to me when I term it that way. Have I done anything in the last week? And really, it should be in the last day to generate more leads for myself, which would be, creating valuable content for my social media or maybe collaborating with another expert in the industry or in a different industry, or something to get my face and my message in front of new people would be, I think, a more specific interpretation of this question.
Yeah.
Which may be useful for the listeners.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can be busy doing like all this busy work and thinking like, oh, I've been so busy doing everything. But meanwhile, have you?
Yeah.
Like, have you been doing things that are actually bringing leads in, new people into your community, establishing that know, like, and trust factor, getting people to know about you? Are you creating content for like maybe a course that you're putting together, or, are you writing copy for your website? Like, these are all really valuable things.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we got that one.
Did I do an action step to generate money, generate time, or generate an opportunity for myself?
Yeah. So whatever, are the things that usually lead to sales for you, have you been doing them lately? This seems like common sense, but it's not that common, right? Like,
Yeah.
People will find all sorts of ways to avoid, like the old school way of selling was cold calling, right? Like, Glenn Ross, like getting on the horn and just calling all the prospects, and like, if you didn't make your calls, you didn't make sales, and you didn't get commission, right? In this old school. Now, I don't do cold calls and I don't do cold DMs, but I do stuff to, get my message out there, which I know leads to business for me, right? So whatever that stuff is that leads to business for you in your business,
Yeah.
if it's writing, copy for your website or your blog or social media, or producing video content, or producing whatever, or sending out an email newsletter, or whatever it is, doing interviews, doing lives, those things that either directly or indirectly translate to revenue, are you doing them, and are you doing them enough?
Yeah.
I think is what this question is driving at.
And are you doing them every day? Because I think the modern day pounding the pavement, the modern day version of that is really showing up online, right?
Yeah.
Showing up on Instagram. Now, I know like there's people who build their businesses and like don't do anything on social, and that's fine. But, the way I look at social media is it's a marketing tool. I don't use it as a way to, make friends. I use it as a business tool. And so no matter what, I get up every day and I make at least two pieces of content to put on Instagram. And the consistency of doing that every day is how you build, build leads, build respect, build that know, like, trust factor, like we were saying. So, don't give up if you're putting content out there and it's not getting what you want immediately, right? It's like taking that action every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Like, there's all these people who are listening, watching, reading, and not engaging. And then one day you're going to say the thing that they needed to hear for them to come and send you a message or book with you or be ready. So
that's true. That's true. I used to interview a different person every day at lunchtime on social media, on live. I even interviewed the famous Alana Banks twice. And
I think I've been interviewed at like 3 times actually.
By Ryan Montes on Ryan Montes NLP. I used to just kind of for fun, and because I was in a growing stage, I would I'd find a different person Monday to Friday and interview them at about lunchtime. And that turned into a lot of new followers and a good amount of sales for my trainings, for my training programs for me. And so consistency.
Yeah, it's important.
Cool. All right, what else we got? Now we're getting to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
On the list.
Did I do something terrifying during the last week?
Yeah.
I think we can wrap that up with the next one, which is, did I take a risk? So did I do something that scared me or made me feel like I wanted to puke, or, really risked my, I don't know, pushed your fear factor a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that's showing up live. It could be something as simple as showing up live on Instagram.
Yeah. Right. Whoever you are, wherever you are, there's something that you could be doing that would be good for your business, potentially or definitely. that you're afraid to do, and therefore you haven't done it yet. And so now's a good time to consider doing it, right? Like if you've
Yeah.
done, for a lot of people, that's going live
Yeah.
on Facebook or Instagram or another, or TikTok is a good one to go live on these days. If you've never done it, it's much more forgiving than you might imagine.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
And the thing is it's going to be, I'll never forget the first time I went, not live, maybe not live, but I remember the first time I did like a self sort of video, on Instagram back when I had my fabric store, and it was so cringy. And, I think about it now and I've come a long way, but it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to make you feel weird. But you just got to push through that and keep doing it. And then the more you do it, the stronger that muscle is going to get. And then you're just going to be going live, taking videos of yourself all the time.
I just thought of a thing to help people go live.
Oh yeah? What is it?
Just came up with this in my mind. I'm calling it the 1, 2, 3 going live challenge. And so you go live and say one word and then end the live. So the first one you just go live and say hi and then end the live. And then the second one is 2 words. So you could go live and say, hey everybody, and then end it. And then the third one, it'll do like 3 words until you get up to like 10 words. And by the time you get up to like 10 words, the nerves will be like 90% less than what they were initially. And you'll see how silly and easy and, not a big deal it is to go live.
Yeah, that's good.
I call that's the patented Ryan Montes 1, 2, 3 going live challenge. You can do it over one day or over several days. Yeah, try it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's something that you've done that you've risked, or like what's a big risk that you've done for your business?
Big risk that I've done.
Yeah.
I hosted a free event where I promised to hypnotize people. And like I hosted it on Zoom, and like over 100 people registered and like 70 people showed up. And I did my best and it was great. But that's like a risky thing to promise. I was like, I guarantee, like, come here, I'll hypnotize you, right? I don't remember how I termed it exactly. It was earlier this year, early 2022. I really like put myself in a high pressure ish situation. And and then the day came and I did it. I did my best. It was very well received, overall highly successful. And that was like a risk. That was a big risk for old Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That seems good.
That's I also another time I leapt across a gorge between on a cliff face wearing heavy equipment, and if I had like shorted the jump I would have certainly fell to my death. That was another risk. That was a different kind of risk.
Yeah, that sounds very risky.
So you got 2 ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah, so just think of something that you could take a risk on, or push your boundaries a little bit.
Don't do the gorge thing. Anyone that's listening, go with the live video online. We are in no way recommending you risk your life. We're saying do something safe. That feels risky, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. We are not responsible for any consequences of your actions.
No.
No.
Cool. Okay, so we've got one more, and it's kind of in line with this too. But did I put myself out there in a way that feels new and uncomfortable?
Hold on. Did you say something risky that you did? I shared 2 and you shared 0. Is that what happened? Let's go back.
Reverse.
Yeah, rewind.
What have I done that's been risky? I mean, I don't know if when I think risk, I think like really kind of like risky, but I don't know. I guess I've like
business risky, or like coaching risky, or like, social media risky. I don't know.
Yeah, like, or put myself out of my comfort zone kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Have you ever posted a crying selfie? I'll never do that. I won't do it.
No.
I don't have any problem with people who do that.
I
think it's
don't think I've
very,
ever cried on social media. But no, I haven't done anything like crazy. Maybe it's time for me to do
yeah,
something really crazy.
you brought the list. So, you got to walk
I
the
know.
talk there, Banks.
Well, I mean, starting the podcast was kind of risky.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I'm kind of not.
Your whole new niche is taking a risk and just
There we
being
go.
honest and open with the world. Even though you're
That,
very confident about it and you seem to not be phased by that, many people would find that extremely intimidating and
yes,
would be unwilling to go down that avenue. So
that's
there you
true.
go.
Yeah, this is a risk for me, definitely. And you know what's funny is I've noticed that since I've posted, I haven't posted a ton, but since I've posted things about it, I've lost followers at a bigger scale than I have ever before. So
Oh,
people get kind of weird when you start talking about sex.
yeah. Well, I mean, some people do. The ones who stick around probably are going to be even more interested in what you have to say now, right? Because it's a
Exactly.
polarizing topic, right? The
Exactly.
people
Yes.
who are very disinterested in that are going to leave. The people who are open to that conversation are going to be
Yeah.
drawn in, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of polarizing content. By the way, there's a side tip, everybody. Polarizing content may in the short term cause you to lose followers, but what it'll do is it'll repel people who are not your people, and
Yeah.
it'll magnetically draw in people who really are your people. Polarizing content.
Yeah.
Anytime you use polarizing content, which is to share a controversial opinion or discuss a controversial topic, you're taking a risk,
Yeah.
right? So there you go. Anyways, we got one more, two more, one
That's
more.
it.
Is it?
I think
Oh, did
so.
I put myself out there in a way that feels new and uncomfortable? All right, these are all kind of the same
Yeah,
at
they're
this
all
point.
those last three were very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have, like, I don't know. All due respect to the author of this list, but this could have been like 6 items instead of
Yeah.
12, 11 items. I don't know. Anyways, no, it was good. Good list. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
You have
we got some.
anything else to add? I think we added a couple at the beginning.
I mean, if the question is when have you done everything, have you really done everything when you think you've done everything? Like if you're sitting around saying, I've tried everything, there's probably a million things that you still could try. Like if we're talking specifically about an online coaching business, have you interviewed people? Have you gone live? Have you explored different social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn? What else? Have you started a newsletter? Do you have an email list? Have you collaborated with other people? Have you experimented with low cost ads? The list goes on. Have you Googled more stuff, more ideas? Have you bought the one sentence coaching course by Ryan Montes, available now on Amazon? You name it, right?
Yeah.
I think that the spirit of this article, this list, is that it's never a good idea to be like, I've tried everything if you've not yet gotten the results you want. If you've not yet gotten the results you want and they're even remotely attainable, then you haven't tried everything.
Yeah. 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 And if you're listening to this and being like, oh, I really don't want to do any of these things, then ask yourself, what's preventing you from doing these things, and maybe tackle that first, because that's important. Because at that point, you're just holding yourself back from success, the results you want, the business that you want to grow. So maybe it's an opportunity to look inward for a minute and ask yourself, why am I not doing these things? What's preventing me from doing these things?
Absolutely.
And if you need help with that, you can look me up, Alana Banks Coaching.
That's all right. Get in touch with Alana Banks. And if you want training in elite coaching, NLP, hypnosis, look me up at Ryan Montes NLP on Instagram or ryanmontes.com.
Yeah.
I think we're done, right?
We're done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Get the book.
So get the book and then start tackling this list. And we'll talk to you next week.
Cool.
This is the point where we tell people where to find us, or did we already do that?
I said mine. I mentioned the book.
Said mine
I mentioned
too.
my Instagram. I mentioned my website. I mentioned that I do training, NLP, hypnosis, elite coaching. Yeah, I'm good. You got anything else? Well, you have
I
a different podcast.
Well, I have another podcast called Cracked Open where you can experience hypnosis. These are all guided hypnotic meditations. That's what I call them. A variety of
Yes.
things.
I don't know why I was doing this. This is not related necessarily to what
I
you're
was
saying.
like, are you waving bye? Are you just leaving now? Or
I was doing jazz fingers for those that are listening just randomly. Alana Banks was privy to the video of that live.
it'll be on YouTube Raw once we get that up and going.
Yeah.
Because when I think about it, have I really done everything? No, I haven't. I haven't uploaded this to YouTube.
You can go if you're curious to see how many different shades of dark green two people can get into a video frame.
Yeah, and I'm wearing green. I just noticed.
Everything and your background looks green on my screen. Everything is just green. Maybe it's my eyes. We should go.
Yeah.
Because now we're just rambling.